Well, dear Koreans, I don't know why you guys can be so arrogant. While Korea doesn't have much natural resources, its economy is depending on the US. Big corporations in Korea is literally ruling the country. Both the rates are so low. People are looking the same way like they're cloning each other. And your only twin is North Korea. Also, Koreans get plastic surgeries as their birthday gift. Other countries don't, because they receive love from their parents and not insecurities.
There is currently a beef going on with Southeast Asians and South Koreans. And they're calling South Koreans greedy, egotistical, capitalist, starving for white attention, climbing the corporate ladder, political ladder, kissing ass, corrupt, backstabbing again. And as a South Korean myself, I gotta say, you guys are 100% correct. Like, Koreans have so much ego and anger issues, and they just think they're better than everyone else. And that's just, unfortunately, it's the truth. As a South Korean, I have to admit that. And I'm a Korean American. I'm kind of a fake Korean, but I definitely agree.
Let's go over my favorite insults from the sibling versus South Korea drama, because let me tell y'all, the South Asians, they cooked South Koreans. Number one has to be them calling us microplastics. And this is why I can never get plastic surgery, because being called a microplastic, I'm never coming back from that. And in tandem with that, them saying that Korean bodies are basically considered hazardous waste, because if you put our bodies in the sea, it's 98% silicone. I'm seared, I'm roasted, I'm burnt, my bones charred, incinerated. My last favorite one has to be, of course Koreans don't have pimples. Pimples don't grow on plastic. It healed me. It healed the 12-year-old me that got told to get plastic surgery constantly whenever I went back to Korea. Honestly, an embarrassing day to be South Korean. Here's my favorite place, Blue Bowl. I'm in Long Beach because I had to go pick up this. I think this chair costs like $800 or something like that. Like, it's a really expensive chair. It's like ergonomic. It's called Soul Seat. I don't know if Asians developed it or Europeans who like Asian shit developed it. Kind of looked like the perfect seat for my butt and back. But when I was down picking it up in the OC, I decided to go to Blue Bowl. So come to Blue Bowl. Also, comment your favorite insults that you've seen from the sibling versus South Korea drama.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Guys, I'm back again with another video of siblings versus South Korea. The last video I uploaded about this, I told you guys that may be the last video, but I think this will drag on for a long time because a lot of people are still speaking on this and people are still fighting on Twitter. The comment section of a lot of South Koreans are still filled with a lot of comments. So let's go through it. This video contains the reactions of Korean Americans and some siblings who are still contributing to this or still voicing out their anger. Let's start with a video made by an Indonesian content creator who said that he used to live in South Korea. He gave his experience and also he's speaking in support of what is happening between the siblings and South Koreans. Like, he's speaking on the part of the siblings calling out South Koreans for always looking down on Southeast Asians. Guys, this fight is getting wild. A lot of South Koreans are coming on TikTok trying to defend themselves, talking about them not being part of the Koreans that obtain plastic surgery. I feel like, wow, a lot of people have been bullied into defending themselves over the plastic surgery thing. I feel like it's getting into a lot of South Koreans, but let's get into this video.
Okay, since everyone's slandering South Korea, I'm going to tell you some of the horror stories that I experienced as a Southeast Asian. My name is Jasper and I'm an Indonesian who lived in South Korea for 5 years. Okay, so this is a picture of back in 2014 when I first arrived to South Korea for my scholarship. Okay, don't get it wrong, I love South Korea because I met some of the nicest people there and also their food is amazing. But there are some horror stories when it comes to living there. So number one, you're always constantly reminded that you are not Korean. So in South Korea, I don't think this applies to just Southeast Asian. It also applies to every foreigner who lives in South Korea. You're not just a person, you're like a foreign person. You're always constantly being reminded that. Me and my friend, we have this one saying because every time we go to a bar or a club, we would always be friends with some locals and then we would always have such a great time. But then after the party ends, they try to meet up again for coffee. They always ghost you. So we call these people one night friend. Number 2, South Korea is racist as right now I live in the Netherlands and I have never been denied an entrance to any places because of my race. But in South Korea, this is like a common weekend occurrence. And this is also the moment where I kind of realized the way that South Korean perceives Caucasians and the way that they perceive black people or Asians, like Southeast Asians, are very different. Because for example, back in my university, we have student exchange coming from Europe. We always have like 10 Danish students for engineering or 2 foreign exchange students from France and Germany. And every time I go out with them, we would always be stopped by club promoters. So the club promoters would always look for a group of white people, and if they look attractive enough, then you're going to be invited to have a free bottle of vodka in their establishment. But if you are Indian or Southeast Asian and you try to enter some bars or establishment, they might go, oh sorry, Korean only. I experience this a lot because when I go with my white friends, their treatment is definitely different than when I go with my black friend or my South Asian friend. Another thing that I find absolutely crazy is how normalized violence against women are. So every weekend, every time we go to the city, we would always see couples fighting on the street, and sometimes we would see the girls being slapped or the girls laying on the street because the guy pushes her, and the guy screaming at girls. It's just absolutely crazy. One of the craziest things that I've experienced firsthand is when I was having a house party at a friend's apartment. And at some point we start hearing a commotion from the hall. So in South Korea, the apartments is a little bit like hotels. So there's always like one really long hallway that connects all of the apartments on that floor. We opened our door and we saw this one lady, pretty much half naked. She was screaming at this guy, and then she was trying to run away from him. And the guy starts like grabbing her by the hair, puts her on the floor, drags her by the hair inside the apartment. That was the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life. And obviously we were a little bit scared, like this is domestic violence. So the police knocked on their apartment, and then the girl answered. She was like completely dressed, and then she's just like dismissing everything that's happening, like, oh, it's okay, we're just having a fight. And then the case goes nowhere, but we still filed the report to the police. It's just like there's nothing that could be done in that moment because the victim itself was unwilling. So that was absolutely insane. That literally was like imprinted in my brain now. It's like one of the worst cases of domestic violence that I have experienced. And the last one is how dangerous the public toilets are. Not just for women, but also for men. Because I remember at some point I went to the toilet in a cubicle, and then I started looking around at the cubicles, and I'm like, why is there so many dots in the stalls? But then at some point I kind of realized it's holes. And I know that it's holes because there's a tissue blocking the holes. So that's the moment I kind of realized, oh my god, these are like people trying to pick in. And the thing is, I know that a lot of people are being filmed without their knowledge in public toilets. And so in every cubicles, they usually in front of you when you sit down, there's always going to be like a reminder of the law. If you film people without their knowledge, you are going to be jailed or imprisoned for this amount of time. So ever since I realized that, I never went to the public toilet again, especially the one in stations. Like in popular stations, don't ever use that.
I don't even fully know what we did, but I know we're in the wrong. Because I know Korean people, and Korean people can be a lot. And some of the worst Korean people I know are my family. So we've got good things on both sides, on everywhere. Asia has a lot of beautiful things. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. We should be banding together against the one.
I'll side with the sibling 11 out of 10 times, because tell me why when I see Koreans complaining about bullying online, I'm assuming it's from other Koreans instead of the entirety of Southeast Asia, and I think Brazil has now joined the chat. I think you already know my opinion on this, but Korea is obviously wrong because they usually are in these kinds of instances. I side with Southeast Asia for obvious reasons, but I also desire Pan-Asian unity so bad, and South Koreans, they don't know what that is. I love being Korean, and I love how diverse the Korean experience is, because I believe that the Korean experience, whether you're born in a different country or not, is part of being Korean because of our history and politics. My entire thesis was about when I was in university. I wasn't going to comment on this drama because I'm not a drama page. I am already too busy trying to whip the asses of Asian Americans in America. But then I saw Korean Americans separating themselves from these types of Koreans, and I was like, oh no. We are them and they are us. I believe you have to clean your own house. Koreans started saying colorist and racist remarks to Southeast Asians and comparing them using the old jungle rhetoric and jungle Asian rhetoric and all that, really saying the most abhorrent shit ever. Southeast Asia clapped back as they should, and they're killing killing it out here. My God, younger me is healing with some of these insults. If I called them microplastic, I would literally never come back from that. And then Korea wants to play victim after that too, which is like so embarrassing, because what do you mean you can dish it out but then you can't take any? Koreans can't even find community with Korean Americans, and I'll give you an example. I posted a video that's gaining some traction, and it's this video here. I'm just gonna overlay it, basically saying I'm ugly and I'm proud because I don't have filler, Botox, a bullhorn lip lift, K-pop special, if you will. The way that my entire comment section is Southeast Asian, gassing me up, giving me so much love, saying so many positive things, and also jokes. The only negative comments I've gotten, which is really just one, which was a Korean, 그러세요, which is like so passive aggressive, and it's kind of like, go ahead.
Editing me here. Yeah, no, I've gotten some more actual really shitty comments and DMs on Instagram of people calling me a komoi, which is like black-haired foreigner, basically very anti-Gyopo rhetoric.
Just goes to show you that Koreans will not even be down for Korean Americans. How far away from reality Koreans are. Like, Korean Americans are pretty bad. They're bad. Koreans are far worse. They're fried. I think the only out-of-pocket thing that was said, at least our bridges aren't meant for jumping over, and that was in a great accolade to Koreans having one of the highest suicide rates. It's actually also part of my mid-residency in university, because I talked about the similarities of Koreans and Americans because of globalization and US imperialism, and it's the highest rates of plastic surgery and the highest suicide rate. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing that body of work, you can't. It burned down in a fire. Much more casual get ready with me because I'm trying to get to the studio and put in some work. I do my best work when I feel hot and sexy. I lied. I actually do my best work when I look like a gremlin. Stop being racist. Is that so hard? Yes, it is, because it's 2026 and we all have access to the internet and we're still fucking doing it. Oh, if I need your attention spans and you had fun listening to today's video, follow my Substack, subscribe to my YouTube, and find me on Instagram.
I've just become aware of the whole sibling versus Korea thing, and honestly, I will say, being Korean myself, it's not really that hard to see where they're coming from. In the Twitter interactions, like, all of those things were super out of line that the K-nuts, the Korean citizens, were tweeting. But also, I think the discourse at hand is finally bringing to light a very pervasive issue of colorism in Korea. I myself, being not pale, and not pale by Korean standards at all, have experienced a little bit of feeling like I'm lower class, maybe because I'm not pale, because I'm tan. I love my mom, but like, she's pale and my dad is tan, and like, my two other siblings are pale, and like, she'll always group them together, whereas like, me and my dad are kind of like separate, and like, similar personalities, just like the same people basically in her head, which is like, you know, that could be true, but like, she attributes a lot of negative things about us together, and maybe that's not about color, except that sometimes she does make it about how we're both tan. And I don't know, this is just a very interesting thing going on right now, and you know, there is a lot of truth to Koreans being racist.
What's your advice for foreigners wanting to build a life in Korea?
Oh, build a life in Korea? Realize that Korea is still very conservative in many senses, that you are gonna struggle. Like,
Yes.
I don't like South Koreans. Now this sounds like me, I'm bitch. I don't
You're
like
Korean,
South
you can say
Koreans
this, I can't say this.
to go to Southeast Asia and look down on other Asian countries.
Say it, John!
Right?
Speak!
I've seen Koreans go to Thailand and other countries and act like they boss the place. And the same mentality goes towards Europeans or Americans who come to Korea.
I would like to add something to this messiness of the situation. And I'm South Korean and I'm married to a Filipino man. But literally before we moved to Korea, like 8 years ago, somebody said to me, a Korean man said to me, hey, like, don't feel bad if you're looked down upon for marrying not a Korean, but instead a Filipino man. So yeah, totally valid. It's a little uncomfortable, but we need to be called out on our shit. And that's how change happens. So let's go.
As a Korean American, I don't have much else to add to the sibling versus K-Nets conversation that's been going on the past week, except to say I stand with the siblings. Most definitely. Because I've talked at length about the exploitation of Southeast Asian countries by South Korea, both in wartime, specifically the Vietnam War, and also currently, as goes on in the Philippines specifically and Vietnam. Those are two major countries that are continuously exploited by South Koreans, both for tourism and business and people as well. So much trafficking of women from Vietnam and the Philippines and to some extent Thailand as well. And we don't talk enough about that as a society, and not even in the Korean diaspora. It's a very taboo topic for some reason. There's so much colorism I've already talked about in many, many previous videos, and xenophobia. And this general looking down on Southeast Asians by South Koreans, as well as Koreans in the diaspora. A lot of that attitude and weirdness carries over, and we don't talk about it enough. And this exploitation, like I said, is on multiple different levels, not just with tourism, but taking their money. And I think it's really weird that there's a stadium in Seoul that was gifted to us by the Philippines when the Philippines was doing very well economically. And I don't see us doing that for any Southeast Asian country. And I say it's weird because why aren't we reciprocating in the same way that we've been shown? I find that very weird. I find that very bizarre. I don't think that's okay. So yeah, that is my opinion on this whole sibling versus K-Net situation. If there is a Southeast Asian country criticizing South Korea, most likely they are absolutely correct in their criticisms. And yes, I understand this happened in Malaysia, but again, my point still stands. If there is a Southeast Asian country that is criticizing Korea, most likely, yes, their criticism is valid. Their criticism is going to be correct. And I know also a lot of Koreans in the diaspora are not very happy when I post up videos like this. Why are you criticizing Korea as a Korean American? I do it out of love. This is my nationalism. I criticize in the hopes that it will be better in the future. I want to see it get better. I want to see us do better. I want to see us having these conversations openly and not it being taboo. I mean, even recently, a mayor in Jeollanam-do said some nonsense about importing brides, etc., from Southeast Asian countries in 2026, and I don't think that's okay at all. That is, unfortunately, also a very South Korean man thing to say. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, it's just a few people. No, it's a very prevalent attitude in South Korea, the colorism and the xenophobia. I have experienced that othering as well as a Korean American, so I cannot fathom the levels that South Koreans treat folks who do not look like me, who look like Southeast Asians. So yeah, that is the unfortunate fact. I know a lot of people romanticize South Korea, and I'm also not really here for it. I don't think the popularity of Korean culture has done good things for the general mental health of the diaspora or South Koreans in South Korea. There's a lot of arrogance that has come to the fore that I don't really like, when we should really be having discussions more about our issues like this.
The way I'm genuinely starting to think that the Southeast Asian versus Korean fiasco is genuinely a psyop or something. I'm gonna have some hot takes in this video, so brace yourself. But I first just want to say, I literally made a video a couple months ago talking about how racist Korean people are, but especially towards Southeast Asian. So not gonna lie, when I first started seeing this discourse starting to unravel itself on Twitter, like, I was not surprised at all. I also think a lot of the criticisms that were brought up about Korea are very valid, and a lot of Korean people would agree. But it's always something about online discourse, especially when it comes to topics of racism or like these diaspora wars, that just end up creating a space for people to fuel more racism. And inevitably, people will start losing the plot entirely, because now I'm seeing just as horrendously racist remarks being thrown at Korean people too. Now I'm literally seeing videos of Korean people saying that they're siding with their Southeast Asian homies, but their comment section is just a bunch of racist shit being thrown at them just because they're Korean, even though they literally said that they're siding with the Southeast Asian people. And there's also random Korean creators who just like have no idea what's fucking going on, and they're literally getting harassed online with racist comments. I even saw a Chinese American couple saying that they were getting harassed with racist comments, and I literally went to the comment section of their video. It was horrendous, and they're not even fucking Korean. But even if they were Korean, like, it wouldn't be justified at all, because why the fuck are people like randomly harassing these random East Asian people? So now both sides are just going back and forth spewing racist shit. So like, now what? Like, now what? Now both sides are wrong, and people have just created a huge space for people to spew racist shit back and forth on both sides. And I'm seeing in some of these comment sections like, well, the Korean people started it first, and like, I don't know if some of you have passed the 5th grade, but when has that ever been like a logical defense, especially for something as serious as racism? And this is not to excuse the racist shit that Korean people were spewing either, because honestly, the conversations that were happening in the beginning with like valid criticisms of Korean culture and everything, like, it was real as fuck, and some of it was funny, haha. Because now people are joking about Korea's suicide rates, or like talking about the war crimes being done onto Korea, which, by the way, a lot of those war crimes were also being done in Southeast Asia. It's just like such a weird diss to be throwing on either side. Now both sides are like genuinely looking like some MAGA shit, like making fun of the fact that most Korean people don't speak English, or like making fun of how the alphabet looks. Like, that's literally MAGA shit. And honestly, some of the Korean people who have been talking about this too, like, y'all have the lowest racial esteem I've ever fucking seen. You can have valid criticisms of Korean culture and society as a full Korean, a Korean American, whatever, and like call it out. But I'm seeing some of you literally perpetuating these stereotypes about our own people just for some clicks. Like, that is so embarrassing, bro. And oh my god, the people who are posting videos of themselves being like, I'm a Korean who didn't get any plastic surgery, like it's some flex, like, oh my god. My personal hot take, but choosing or not choosing to get plastic surgery is not some huge indicator of your morality or moral standing. And now some of y'all are making these videos like, I'm not like those other plastic Koreans, like, that is some hella pick-me shit, like, you should be humiliated. Like, at first, I was also very much on the Southeast Asian side, because the racism that East Asians perpetuate onto Southeast Asians is real as fuck. But now it's genuinely just become a cesspool of people wanting to be racist towards each other, so like, we need to wrap it up.
There are so many things about my Korean ancestry that I am proud of and that I love. But this discourse with Southeast Asians gobbling up the South Koreans, as a Korean American, I am here for it. I have been told by so many people, whenever the topic of me going to Korea comes up, that I would not be accepted, okay? Because it is very obvious that I am Korean American. And growing up, yeah, it was like an identity thing, right? Because you're not American enough for the white and the black kids. But if I were to go to Korea, they wouldn't like me either, because I am too dark and my skin like the freckles. Also, I'm like a size small here, but over there I'm like an XL. And all that to say, the paradox here is that like the actual South Koreans are really mean to Korean Americans. So like, yes, of course they look down on Southeast Asians. They look down on their own kind. Like, everything in the like modern Korean culture is like so based on America, right? Like, K-pop is like rooted in American hip-hop, and they use English words in their songs, and a lot of their fashion, like American, like they're obsessed with like westernizing themselves, etc., etc. Surgery to make their eyes bigger and like their nose, like that's why they have so much plastic in their bodies, like the actual South Koreans. So again, as a Korean American who was told I would never be accepted over there, I'm kind of here for that. One posted on one of the comment sections like, hey, this conversation isn't going to end anytime soon because plastic takes a long time to decompose. And then someone also put like, this is the new Korean flag, and it was a recycling sign. Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not shading anybody for getting any plastic surgery. In Korea, it is the plastic surgery capital. It's rooted in a very insecure culture, clearly, but I gotta say, I am here for it. I am here for the roasting.
Because Hallie's a two-faced cunt. Why am I not a cunt? You're the cunt! You're the fucking cunt, bitch! Language missing! Okay.
I think this video is getting too long, so let me stop here. I will bring you the part 2 of this continuation. Guys, one thing I want to say is, remember, there is Asian hate, right? So once you guys are pushing hate towards particular group of Asians, it may create room for other people who do not like Asians to start attacking Asians, both online and offline. So in Australia, there is some group of Korean people who were attacked yesterday. And look at the comment section. Look at the comment section, because I do go through a lot of comment sections of anything that talk about Korea or Koreans, and once you go through that, you see a lot of people leaving this kind of comment. I honestly know that the anger of the Southeast Asians are justified, but guys, please just remember that you all are Asians. Be mindful that if you push too much hate towards particular group of Asians, it may rub off on all the Asians, right? Also, I wish we learn to respect each other. And we cannot talk about this without talking about some Asians who feel superior over Black people and Southeast Asians. I, as a Black person who love South Koreans, who love Asians in general, I always feel bad when I see Asians calling like another Asian Black, in a like making it seem like if you call somebody Black, you are disrespecting that person, like it's a bad thing to be Black. I am not saying this is just South Korean thing. It is mostly done by a lot of East Asians. Let us not lie. Like I said in my other videos, I feel like people are forgetting that this is 2026. This is 2026. We are not living in Stone Age again. People have access to information about you, about your country, about your history, about everything. And once you disrespect them, they will throw it to you. I don't know if you guys are noticing what is happening, but if you're not noticing, let me tell you, even white people are getting disrespected every day. Before, nobody dares talk to white people. Like, nobody talk to white people the way people are talking to white people right now. Because the information about white people littered everywhere. Before, the white media, the Western media, were able to hide a lot of information. So a lot of information is not accessible. If it is before, this file that is going viral, it will not reach to a lot of places. A lot of people will not have access to those files. A lot of people will not know what is in that file. But because of social media, it is spread across the world, around the world. Anybody who use social media, who is into social issue, know about the file. So the thing is, your information is everywhere on social media. I don't see the need or reason why you feel superior over another person because maybe you think you're lighter, or maybe you think your country is performing better, especially the countries who used to be poor before. Guys, forgive me for saying this, but I always feel very surprised each and every time I see South Koreans or people like Chinese call a country poor. Like, I am always very surprised. I'm like very shocked, genuinely shocked. The reason is we know a lot of history. A lot of histories about all these countries are on social media. Like, a lot of countries like South Korea just got rich. Like, whatever or development they have in their country is so very new. It's by miracle, right? A lot of Southeast Asian countries look like South Korea before, like the way South Korea used to be before. Each and every time I see South Koreans feeling very superior over them and also calling them poor, I'm like, don't you know your history? Don't you know that, like, few years ago, you guys used to be like them, like you guys used to be undeveloped? And again, one thing I want to tell to any South Korean watching this is be mindful the way you disrespect people on social media, because people are not taking a lot of things from South Koreans again, because what is giving South Koreans grace is getting down. K-pop and K-drama used to give South Koreans a lot of grace. This is the reason why Asians even become a thing. K-pop and K-drama is the reason why all Asian countries become a team, become the people a lot of people admire and want to be like. So those things are going down. So if you are still going on social media disrespecting people, those people who will overlook your nonsense because they love South Koreans or they love South Korean pop stars and they do not want to say a lot of things about them because of their favorite, they will disrespect you, because what is giving you grace is not as big as it used to be. Honestly, another thing that still blow my mind is every time, maybe because I'm a Black person, I always ask myself, why do people feel superior over other people because of your skin color? I always ask myself this. Maybe because I'm a Black person, because the same air you breathe is the same air the other person who do not look like you or who have different skin color breathe. The same way you feel pain is the same way another person feel pain. The same way you can die, like you get sick, you die, is the same way another person gets sick and die. Like, if they say cancer cancer kills somebody, cancer kill everybody. There's no race or no country or no person of different color. They say cancer develop in your body differently just because you are this color and the other person is this color. The same process, the same biological process you have is the same biological process another person have. So what gives you the audacity to feel like you're superior over another person just because of your skin color? If you're a South Korean watching this, please don't feel offended by anything I say. I just want to voice out my opinion because I feel like the reason why the Southeast Asians are raging in anger is because they have hold on a lot, like they have hold in, they have take a lot of insult from South Koreans. And I feel like this whole thing that we are seeing is not because of the thing that happened on Twitter. I feel like it is like anger that they have been keeping for a long time, and they just use this medium to push it. So this is the reason why I want everybody watching this, not just Koreans, but everybody watching this, respect people. Honestly, respecting people is not hard. I always say that you respect people doesn't mean that you like that person. That you give somebody respect as human doesn't mean that you like that person. You don't need to like somebody to respect that person. But guys, I want to know your opinion in the comment section.